If you just joined for from the TikTok or wherever it may be, welcome. This is day one of watching movies. Every movie on IMDb's top 250 list, and the first one is Shawshank Redemption. This is my second time watching the movie, and I watched it. The first time I ever watched it was probably like a year ago, give or take. Obviously, since I'm doing this, I decided to watch it again just to keep the memories fresh. And I thought this movie was great. Out of 10, I probably would give it 10 out of 10. I don't have much to, criticize, because I'm not like a movie savvy guy where I just take every single little scrap of thing of a movie and try and rate it and downplay the movie because of it. I don't know. I just watch it. If I enjoy it, it's good. If I don't enjoy it, because there's definitely movies I do not enjoy, and I just say so. But this movie was pretty great. I thought they touched on a lot of things, well. I want to talk about Brooks, the old guy, the guy with the bird, if you can remember. I thought he was the reason they touched on how the dark side of when you're in jail for so long, and eventually they have to release you if you have a release date, that is. And if you've been in jail for so long and you have nothing out there to look forward to, because if I'm remembering correctly, there was no mention of family, daughter, son, mom, wife. There was nothing mentioned. So he went out there after being in jail for so long. He was in jail for, I don't know, it was a long while. And he was in jail for so long, and he tried to get back to society. The jail got him a halfway house and a job, and he had arthritis. That's why your hands hurt or something like that. Just something has to do with your hands. And he has to put groceries in bags and whatnot. And it's tough for him. And he said he was in a lot of pain. And he was out there by himself with nothing to look forward to, pretty much, right? As you saw in jail, when he found out that he was getting released, he tried to take one of his friends out because he just didn't want to get released, because again, he has nothing to look forward to. And I thought the directors of the movie depicted that perfectly. And it got to the point that Brooks couldn't cope with it and ended up taking himself out. Wrote a letter to the guys in jail and then told them everything. And they themselves agreed, institutionalized. That's how Red described it. The walls, even though you don't want to be within the walls, eventually you're in there for so long that you have no reason to get out. If you have a reason to leave, that's one thing. But if you don't have a reason to leave, you don't have a family that's gonna look out for you or anything, it's tough. And I thought they touched on that pretty well. And I think, some of you guys that have been in jail for so long, maybe you've watched the movie and you felt a relation to that part of the movie, at least. Or you're watching the movie and you have a friend or just a family member in general that's in that situation. And maybe you're that person to them. Maybe you're the person that they're looking forward to seeing, on the visits, or once they finally get out after being in there for so long. Maybe you're that person. And I thought the movie depicted that pretty well. Tommy, the dude with the sideburns that the warden took out, I thought he was, for his short cameo, I thought he did pretty well. It was just a young kid, got in jail for breaking and entering, just doing dumb stuff. Just kept doing the same thing, just getting caught over and over and over again. And obviously, he has a daughter. Well, I think he found that he had a daughter. And then obviously he has a girlfriend. And he wanted to get his diploma and then asked Andy for help. And then eventually Andy sent his test papers or whatever it was, and then ended up getting like a C- average and pretty much ended up passing. And tells Andy the fact that one of his cellmates of the jail that he was in before bragged to him about the fact that that one dude killed Andy's wife and her lover. And obviously Andy went to tell the warden because he thought him and the warden had a great relationship, because he made the warden so much money. So it's like, okay, since we're cool and I've done all of this for you without asking for anything, Andy thought, you know what, let me just ask the warden for a bit of help. And obviously the warden is thinking, well, why would I let you go? You're making me so much money. I have no reason to let you go, which in all fairness makes sense. Making me that much money and you're in jail and I have power over you. Why would I let you go? And Andy did not think that far ahead, and it obviously saw the dark side, pretty much, of the warden. And the warden ended up taking Tommy out, like taking him out, made it seem like an escape. The dude had like a year to like a couple months left on his sentence, and you want to try and convince people that he tried to escape. That doesn't even make any sense. But he took him out because Tommy was the only guy that knew the other guy that knew that Andy is not the one that killed his wife and her lover. So I thought, again, that was the dark side of being in jail, the corruption and how much power the wardens had. Obviously, now and way back then is two different scenarios or two different times, and laws were different back then and now. So obviously that would never work. But obviously for people that have been in jail in the past, or maybe even still now, sees the corruption, obviously you can relate to that part. And the last one, I think the movie touched on the emotional side and just friendship in general, and how Andy, Red, and all those like other, was it 4 or 5 dudes that were within that circle, and how cool they were with each other. There was no bad blood. No one tried to take each other out. They make fun of you, yes, but again, what else are you gonna do? But with no malicious intent. But I want to touch on Andy and Red. I thought they had a great relationship. Been friends for what, 20 years? Almost 20 years. I think it was like 19 years, something like that. And how shocked Red was at the fact that Andy escaped from jail. And he was narrating towards the end of the movie, obviously, he was narrating how Andy got out of jail. And once Andy got the rock hammer, it took him, or how Red made a joke, how it would take somebody 600 years to dig themselves out of jail, and how Andy did it in less than 20. He was just baffled. And myself also, by the way, the very first time I ever watched the movie, I was like, I heard all the hype about the movie and how the plot twist, this, that, and the third. I never actually, saw the plot twist. So it was, as I was watching it, I was, anticipating what could have and could not have happened or whatnot. And obviously they showed he escaped. And I was so confused. I was like, what? When was this? And then obviously Red started narrating and how he found a weak point in the wall. He started digging himself out slowly and surely, and every day or so he'd get like a handful of the rocks that he did carve out, and he'll drop them in the yard when they had their free time. And how he told nobody, and it was almost 20 years, and how he had the poster right in front of the hole, and then nobody ever checked it. It was 19 years and no one ever checked it. I thought they touched on that pretty great. And I want to talk about Red and the fact that Red eventually did get out, and Red had something to look forward to. The comparison between Red and Brooks is that Red had something to look forward to. The thing that Red was looking forward to was finding Andy. Brooks did not have that. Brooks had no family, and neither does Red, to be fair. But Red has a friend, Like, if Brooks had Andy on the outside, I think Brooks would have been fine. If Brooks would have had just Red or one of the other guys in that circle, I think Brooks would have been fine. He would have had a friend to talk to, somebody to just keep him company, and he would have been the guy that kept the other guy company, right? Red had a goal. Red had a hope. The hope was, I will find Andy. And obviously after he got out, the jail got him a halfway house, and the jail got him a job. He was doing the same job that Brooks was, and he stayed in the same room that Brooks took himself out in. And then Red also did think about taking himself out, and eventually he made his mind up to go and find the letter or whatever Andy left at the tree where the bricks were, and he read the letter and then made his mind up. He says he's gonna go find Andy. Obviously, eventually finds him, and there's hope. There was hope. He said he was so excited, he didn't know what to do. He has something to look forward to. And I think friendship is such a beautiful thing, and this is just a great movie. I can't lie. The character developments, if there were any, I wouldn't say there was any. The warden, with all the bad stuff that he did, ended up getting caught and did not want to go through all the process of going to court, and then eventually he would have went to jail anyways, and it have to be in the same jail, same jail as what you did to everybody else, and they would have had fun with him in there. God knows. And then ended up taking himself out also because he was not gonna go through all of that. All in all, it's a pretty great movie. Emotional, touched on darkness of jail, and didn't really. I just thought it was great in general. The next movie is Godfather. Never watched that, so I'm gonna watch that too. But yeah, thank you.